Hey guys, it's Paintball from me from BEO and AO, and it's April 30th, the Monday before Tuna Ball, and I want to give you guys another new debut. We'll be showing these off around Tuna Ball, but since I'm loading up for new videos, I'm going to go ahead and do this. You saw this new brake beam eye board that Reflex Paintball Customs has been making. As you can see, that's one of the debut products. Here's a bare board. This product actually just went through another revision about a day ago. I've already got a redesigned concept. I think I can find a way to streamline it a little better. Then of course we got our Ace board here, our older version. That's actually gone through 3 revisions. And then these 2 boards obviously are actually going to be like 1.3 versions, the finalized product. But anyways, that's not what I want to show you. So I've been working on this product for a while. I mean, easily 7 years. And what I want to show you is this. What you're seeing right here is pretty much the flagship product for the Reflex Paintball Customs. And what is this? This is the new standard for a universal board. Those of you who have a universal T-board, well, this is going to replace that in a lot of ways. If you guys remember the Morlock boards, they were really cool. They took 6 to 30 volts in and out, shifted dual solenoids, single solenoids, and telefeed, whatnot. Very simple. Used a slide switch, optical eyes. You could put it in an X-Mag. I mean, it was awesome. And then the UTB came along, and then it had, used a membrane pad. It was a momentary. It had an eye switch. But it didn't really shift a big solenoid. Well, if you take the UTB and you take the Morlock and they had offspring, this is what they would produce. It uses the same type of connector on the top as a Morlock, so it's extremely durable. So the small connectors that you have the problem with on the UTB, you don't have that problem anymore. Also, these things look big. Let me tell you this. You're talking, these things lengthwise are the same size as a used TB. Okay, going from this way, they're the same size. Widthwise, this green piece is the same width as the header on the UTB. And if you can see this, it's very hard to see. It barely sticks outside of the green on the board, those connectors. So I mean, that's how little it is compared to the UTB. It's tiny. I'd easily say it's the same size. So while I'm ramping and raving about it, what does it do over a Morlock? Well, okay, a Morlock usually works on a slide switch. It doesn't work on a momentary. And a UTB, as we all know, was designed for a momentary switch, but if you bought a VER frame from me, you know that it's kind of cumbersome to turn it on and turn it off real quick and simulate. This board doesn't have that problem. On the top of this, there's these 2 little dip switches right here on the side. One of those is for your tournament lock, which everyone usually has on any board. The other switch, by flipping that switch on, it'll turn on the power to be a momentary button. So if you're using a membrane pad or a simple just push button, it'll turn the board on. If you're not, if you're using a power slide switch where you're going to have consistent power, you turn it off. And then simply, depending on what position that switch is in, you can hook up any button system that you want. This board has software loaded into it that'll run dual solenoid, single solenoid, open solenoid, closed solenoid. I mean, it will do everything that a Morlock board would and a UTB would without the problems that both systems or limitations that it had. It is by far the best board for universal use that has come along, and everyone's wondering, okay, well, what are you going to call it? What are you going to call it? Well, right now, this is just still in product testing phase, but we're working with this, and we're calling it the UniPro, which is just really simple. It's a universal board that's a professional product. It's pretty simple, cut and dry to the point. They have minimal components on the top, and then the processor. Which is something I want to get into. So the processor on this board, right? The Universal T-Board has the same series processor as this one. The only difference is this thing has 3 times the input and output pins on this board, and it's still, the board is the same size. What does that mean? Well, if you look on the back here, very hard to see in the camera, but there is 3 little dots, 3 little holes right in the back here for an interface and uplink. This processor, when programmed correctly with new code we're developing as we go, this processor, this board right here that you have, will work with an OLED screen. Anything that you can think of that you can see on those $200, $300 boards that everyone's cranking out, this tiny little do-it-yourselfer will do that. All we have to do is modify the code. So there will be some software availability updates, and there will be some changes. I can get this LED removed, and I can actually set the pins up so we can, put a little remote connector on it, so you can see it. Maybe you don't want your LED on the board. My thought was that if you drilled a hole in the back of a frame, you could plug this thing into it, and that would mount your board for you. That was just a thought. But maybe some of you guys don't want that. Maybe you want the board mounted like this, and you want the LED on the other side, so you can plug it in. I have no idea. But the idea is to design the product so that you guys that are doing all these little do-it-yourselfer projects, you can, you have something to work with. And I'm not saying that the Morlock or the Universal T-Board is anything less than great, because they are good products. But over time we gotta innovate, we gotta change, and this is what we're coming out with. I'll have more on this actually at Tunaball, but I just wanted you guys to take a look, see where we're going as far as Reflex Paintball Customs. We're dedicated to the player and the do-it-yourselfer, and this product is going to be, our flagship circuit. We hopefully, when you guys try this out in the field and you see how it works, it's going to be a winner for sure.